What's up, guys? George Camel here. You're about to listen to a clip of last year's Investing Essentials virtual event. It was a 2-night deep dive into investing and real estate hosted by me and Dave Ramsey. And we're gearing up to do this event again, but we'll be covering even more topics than before, like what's going on with the economy and what you can do about it. You can watch it live on March 4th and 5th of 2025 and start investing with confidence. You can get your tickets today at ramseysolutions.com/events. Enjoy the clip. This episode is brought to you by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro near you at ramseysolutions.com/smartvestor.
So 201 is when you are debt-free, 100%. You're investing now more than 15%. You've gotten to baby step 7. You don't have any debt. Now, baby step 6 is you pay off the house. So baby step 7 is build wealth and give. So now the 15% no longer applies. We just got to put money in investments, and hopefully more than 15%. And you've maxed out your 401k, you've maxed out your IRAs, you've maxed out all things that you can do to keep the government's hands off. Now what are we going to do? Well, let's look at some wealth building, which is why you came tonight, some wealth building principles for that. Number 1, and this one will get you. Wealth building is not required to be sophisticated. As a matter of fact, I will tell you that almost all the people that we've talked to have unbelievably primitive investment plans. I know a few guys that have $50 to $200 million or even $1 billion that are starting to do some wild and wacky sophisticated things, but the vast majority, 90+%, is devastatingly primitive, simple. But they understand it. They keep doing what they understand. They're successful at it, and they never stop. They just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. Things do not have to be complicated to be correct. And that is said in a culture where people don't know how to work all the stuff on their car. They certainly don't know how to work all the stuff on their phone. They don't know how to work all their stuff on anything, because everything in our life is so stinking complicated and sophisticated and robust and whatever else. And the idea of just putting money in something steady over and over and over and over and over again sounds like it can't be right. And I'm telling you, from the data in the field with real wealthy people, the vast majority of wealthy people are boring with their investments. It's not sophisticated. Most millionaires attribute their wealth to what we call savings rate, meaning what percentage of my income am I putting into an investment? They do not attribute it to what the investment did. They attribute it to they steadily planted corn, and then they were not shocked that corn grew. It's that simple. And George, you've got stories about investment strategy on this that are very interesting, I think.
Yeah, because I've lived out these principles for a while now, Dave. And what's wild is that it is so much simpler than you thought, and I just leave it alone. I live on less than I make, and I keep this up. And what's amazing is as you do these calculations, if you use our investment calculator at ramseysolutions.com, you type in these numbers, you'll notice that the end result might be $3 million. But if you look at your contribution, it might be $300,000.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier.
That's incredible that the actual compound
all growth. It's all growth. It's not what you put in.
You don't need to save $3 million here.
No. How am I possibly going to save $3 million? You're not. You don't need to. But you need to be putting money in. You need to be putting money in. You need to be putting, it's the steadiness. It's the tortoise that wins all the time. The next one is understand the difference between investing and speculating. Now this one is starting to drive me nuts, okay? Because this is where people, when you use the wrong words on things, you're setting yourself up for failure. And this is one of those examples, all right? Let me help you with this. Investing is always long ball. You're always playing long term, and so you're always looking at a long track record. You can not call it an investment if you're going to sell it inside of a year. That is speculating. If you're buying something to flip, you're buying something to hold and roll it back over, there's nothing evil about that, nothing wrong about that, but that is not investing. Quit calling your speculating investing, because it keeps you from investing. It gives you an excuse to not do real investing, which is long ball. I don't have to put money in my mutual funds because I'm doing flips. Flips, house flips, are not investing. They're speculating. You're buying that house to roll it back over. As a matter of fact, if a home builder builds a home that does not have an owner, a buyer yet, it's called a spec house, because he's speculating, or she's speculating, that they're going to find a buyer for this stinking house. They're not building it to have renters in it for the next 20 years. They're building it to sell right now. It's a flip. They're doing it right. It's an inventory item. They're flipping it right now. And it's inventory turnover. And that they call them spec houses for that reason. They're speculating. And so when interest rates shoot up and people quit buying new houses, and a builder's got 20 of these things and he's borrowed money on them, he's sitting there going broke because he had a plan to get rid of them and he can't get rid of them. So don't call your investing speculating, and don't call your speculating investing. Keep that separate. And if you do that, what it'll tell you is, I don't want a large portion of my money in speculation, because risky. That's a higher risk play with not track record. It's not gambling, but it's a higher risk play. I got to turn the money right now, and if you bet everything on your short-term plays, you're going to never build substantial wealth. People that build wealth, they might do some speculating, but they call it what it is, and they do investing, and they call it what it is. And they let their investments be over here, and the speculating is just over here playing with the Tabasco sauce, the hot stuff, right?
Well, when you do it yourself, you can fall into some of these traps. And that's why it's so important to have a pro in your corner who can help with this stuff and help you understand the differences.
Yeah, but just never do a short-term play and say, my investment. Because you're indicating not only your ignorance, but you're also giving yourself permission to not do real long ball investing. And that's where you're going to get screwed up big time. You need to sit down with somebody, like George said, and get somebody with investing that has the heart of a teacher, that will walk with you, not tell you what to do. And you don't do it, I got a man, don't get a man, don't get a woman. You got somebody on your team that says, this is how this works. They're going to teach you something you didn't know. Oh, that's how that works. Okay, now that I understand it, Dave says I can invest in it if I understand it, right? And now we're ready to go on to the next level. That's why we have the Smart Mr. Pros out there. And that's why we require, when we're vetting them, that they have the heart of a teacher. And you can get them at RamseySolutions.com. Type in Smart Mr. There'll be several of them in your area. Drop down. You can pick the one that you like best. Interview 2 or 3 of them. I don't care. But they need to have the heart of a teacher. And if you interview one and you feel like they're looking down on you and you're dumb when you leave and you feel intimidated, don't use that one. You need to get somebody that's, they're right there with you, and they're going, this stuff's not that hard here. I'll show you how. And then you'll feel like a pro yourself. And now you got some confidence, and now you're ready to do some investing, maybe in something you didn't understand. And it took 2 or 3 meetings to sit down with somebody to teach you.
Yeah, but that peace and confidence that's everything.